Jack was called to a major fire in a family home. When he got there, he was told that there was a strange cat inside, so he immediately went in and rescued the poor creature. When he came outside, he was stunned by the appearance of the cat. He immediately took the cat to the vet and turned pale when the vet said, "You have a big problem." Then this happened. Not all firemen would put their lives on the line for an animal, but Jack was one of the few exceptions. Throughout his years on the team, he had become notorious for risking it all to save as many lives as possible, and he was very often successful with his attempts. And today, he would get another chance to be a hero. When he and the squad arrived at a house fire that had already consumed most of the building, the neighbor told them that the family was on vacation, but that their cat was still inside. She was taking care of it while they were away. The chances of the animal still being alive were slim, but Jack was still willing to take a chance on it. While the other firemen were trying to put out the fire on the first floor, Jack rushed in through the newly created path and started to look for the animal. The place was filled with fire and smoke, and every second that he did not see the animal, he started to lose hope. But luckily, the neighbor gave him some useful information. She had told Jack that whenever the animal was afraid, it would hide under the couch in the living room. This felt like Jack's only chance, as he could not stay in this burning house a lot longer. And so, he made his way into the living room, where the couch had just started to catch on fire. Jack took a deep breath, and with a strong kick, he managed to topple the couch over. And to his relief, he saw a scared, tiny cat huddled up under it. He did not hesitate a moment to pick it up, as the last thing he wanted was for it to run away from him. He needed to get it out of there as soon as possible. He could not go back the same way he came, as the path had been engulfed in flames again. He looked around and knew that he would only have one chance at this. He held the kitten tightly and made sure it was protected. He then charged at the tall window and rammed himself through it. Luckily, it gave way immediately, and Jack got outside. He landed on his back, making sure the kitten got out unharmed. Another fireman immediately made his way over to them and helped Jack get away from the fire. The kitten, meanwhile, was struggling to get out of his grip. It clearly still had some strength left in it. Now that Jack had managed to make it out of the burning building, he could finally have a good look at the animal he just rescued. He hoped that it was not burned or hurt too much. But when he looked at the creature's face, he almost dropped it out of pure shock. He had never seen anything like this before. This cat did not look normal. It did not look like it had sustained any injuries from the fire, although you never know if it had breathed too much smoke, but its face looked extremely strange. Was this some sort of birth defect, or was there something else going on with the cat? Luckily, the neighbor was still there as well to answer some questions. She was very relieved that the cat was all right, but did not have much additional information about the cat's appearance. She had been just as surprised about it as Jack when she first saw it, but had not been in a position to ask for it. Truth is, her neighbors had actually only moved into the house that had just burned down about 2 months ago. And apart from the occasional wave in passing, she had not really spoken to them in this time. The first real contact she had with them was when they asked her if she could take care of their cat for this week. She had been surprised that they would ask this to basically a total stranger, but she loved animals and thought this was also a good chance to start getting more contact with her neighbors. So without even seeing the cat, she agreed to take care of it, and she had not spoken to them ever since. They had only been away for 3 days by now. She had actually tried to call them twice this time already to ask some questions, but both times the phone was not answered and she had not gotten a call back. And she estimated the chance of them picking up the phone at this time to be even slimmer. Of course, she and Jack still gave it a try, but no luck. Jack could not help but be really surprised by the actions of these homeowners. How could you not be in contact with the person taking care of your pet for 3 whole days? Things like this made his blood boil even more than the flames coming out of the house right now. It did not take the other firefighters long to put out the fire. They had made sure it did not spread to any other of the buildings around it, but the house itself had gone up in flames. There was not much left to salvage from it. The owners needed to be informed, but as the neighbour predicted, this could very well be an uphill battle. But Jack did not really care anymore, in all honesty. His focus was now firmly on this strange-looking kitten. The neighbour offered to take the animal in for now, but Jack did not want to burden her with that. And besides that, he was too curious anyway as to what was really going on with this kitten. To make sure the kitten was all right, he needed to bring the animal to the emergency veterinarian. It did not look like the animal was injured in any way, but he wanted to make sure that it had not inhaled too much smoke. And maybe the vet could also tell him something about the condition of the cat. Jack called ahead, but was bitterly disappointed by the answer he got. They were very busy at the moment, and if the cat was still doing everything it was supposed to, then it would be better for him to come it tomorrow. They could simply not spare the few vets they had working at that time. Jack did not have many other options, as there were no other emergency vets in the area. He had a decision to make. Either he could bring this cat to a shelter and be done with it. It was not supposed to be his problem, or he could take it home and have it spend the night with him before bringing it to the vet. With no other emergency vet options nearby, Jack faced a difficult choice. He looked at the scared, unique-looking kitten still cradled in his arms. The thought of leaving it at a shelter troubled him deeply. He couldn't bear the idea of spending the night alone, especially after its ordeal. Against the backdrop of the charred remains of the burnt house, Jack made his decision. He knew it wasn't a conventional choice, but he couldn't leave the kitten's fate to chance. He was resolved to take the animal home for the night, ensuring its safety and comfort until the vet visit in the morning. When Jack arrived home with the enigmatic kitten, he was met with an unexpected reaction from his wife, Sarah. She looked puzzled and mildly concerned as she stared at the peculiar creature in Jack's arms. Her initial words were hesitant. "Jack, what on earth is that?" Jack explained the dramatic rescue at the fire and the kitten's condition, omitting the part about the vet's ominous comment. Sarah, although not thrilled about the unexpected guest, couldn't ignore the sympathy that welled up within her. She reluctantly agreed, "All right, just for one night, but it stays in the garage." As night fell, Jack set up a cozy corner in the garage for the kitten. He placed a makeshift bed, a small dish of water, and a plate of cat food nearby. He decided to keep a watchful eye on the kitten throughout the night, wanting to ensure its safety. In the dimly lit garage, Jack stayed awake, periodically checking on the kitten. He couldn't help but worry about its health, wondering about the mystery behind its unusual appearance. As the hours passed, the kitten remained surprisingly calm, and Jack found himself growing attached to the enigmatic feline. In the stillness of midnight, Jack sat beside the kitten, who seemed strangely at ease in his presence. He noticed the kitten's unique eyes, which gleamed like precious gems in the darkness. He couldn't help but wonder about the origins of this rare feline and the secrets it held. To keep the kitten company, Jack softly hummed a lullaby, hoping it would help the animal feel safe and loved. In those quiet moments, a bond began to form between them, an unspoken connection forged amid uncertainty. Jack's heart swelled with compassion for this extraordinary cat. As the first light of dawn pierced through the garage window, Jack carefully checked on the kitten. It had made it through the night, seemingly unharmed. Relieved, he prepared for the trip to the vet. He cleaned up the makeshift bed, freshened the water, and readied the kitten for their journey. In the morning light, the kitten's uniqueness was even more apparent. Its eyes shimmered with a mysterious allure that left Jack in awe. He knew it was time to seek professional advice about the cat's condition. With determination, he loaded the kitten into his car, ready to uncover the truth behind this extraordinary feline. The next morning, Jack arrived at the veterinary clinic much earlier than his scheduled appointment. He wanted to ensure that the kitten received the best care possible. With the kitten in his arms, he stepped into the bustling clinic, still wearing his fireman's uniform. The receptionist greeted him warmly, but seemed intrigued by the unusual guest. As Jack waited in the clinic's reception area, he noticed curious glances from fellow pet owners. They couldn't help but steal glances at the kitten, whose unique appearance was impossible to ignore. Some whispered among themselves, speculating about the feline's origins. The commotion around the kitten began to grow as more people arrived at the clinic. Word had spread quickly, and soon a small crowd had gathered to catch a glimpse of the extraordinary cat. Children pointed excitedly, and adults exchanged hushed conversations about the mysterious creature. Jack found himself bombarded with questions from inquisitive onlookers. They asked about the kitten's breed, its condition, and how he had come to rescue it from the fire. Jack did his best to answer, revealing only what he knew about the rescue. He kept the vet's ominous comment to himself, not wanting to cause unnecessary panic. The clinic's veterinarians had taken notice of the commotion in the waiting area. Their interest was piqued as they observed the kitten from afar. It wasn't every day that a cat with such an unusual appearance walked through their doors. They exchanged intrigued glances, silently discussing the need to examine this exceptional feline more closely. The kitten's fate hung in the balance as Jack and the veterinary team prepared to uncover the mysteries surrounding it. Amid the growing curiosity of the clinic's visitors, Jack received unexpected news. The receptionist informed him that his appointment had been moved up due to an emergency case. Anxious anticipation gnawed at him as he carried the kitten into the examination room. The sudden urgency left him wondering what the vet had discovered about the kitten's enigmatic condition and how this change of schedule might impact its chances of recovery. In the waiting room, the crowd's hushed conversations continued. Jack's fellow pet owners exchanged worried glances as they observed his departure with the kitten. The air was charged with uncertainty as they awaited Jack's return, desperate to know what had transpired in the examination room. Whispers of concern filled the room, and the atmosphere was thick with tension. Inside the examination room, Jack and the kitten were met by a vet wearing a notably serious expression. The vet's demeanor was a stark contrast to the earlier curious onlookers. Jack's heart sank as he sensed that something was amiss. The room grew heavy with tension, and the mysterious kitten gazed up at him, its eyes holding a secret yet to be unveiled. The weight of the situation bore down on Jack as he prepared for what lay ahead. Seated across from Jack, the vet glanced briefly at the kitten before locking eyes with Jack. His tone was low and serious as he said, "You have a big problem?" Jack's mind raced, and 1,000 questions swirled in his head. What had the vet discovered? What did this ominous comment mean for the kitten's future? Jack braced himself for the impending revelation, uncertain of what lay ahead and how this revelation might impact the kitten's fate. Jack was taken aback by the vet's cryptic statement. He stammered, "What do you mean a big problem?" The vet's expression remained stern as he began to ask probing questions about the kitten's origins. Jack explained the rescue from the fire and how he had found the kitten. The vet's questions delved deeper, hinting at a hidden truth that Jack had yet to grasp. The room grew tense, the answer to the mystery looming on the horizon, and Jack's role in it became increasingly uncertain. The vet's gloved hands gently examined the kitten's features. His face grew somber as he spoke. This kitten isn't just unique, it's incredibly rare. Its striking appearance isn't a mere birth defect, it's a result of a carefully engineered genetic mutation. Jack's shock was palpable. The vet explained that such engineered mutations were often pursued for profit, which raised troubling questions about the kitten's origins. The vet's revelation led Jack to ask a crucial question. How did you know about this kitten's condition before I brought it here? The vet hesitated, then admitted that he had encountered similar cases before, involving kittens with strikingly unusual appearances. He had assumed that authorities had dealt with the issue, but it seemed these unscrupulous breeders were still operating. Jack's mind raced as he realized the implications. Who could own a kitten like this? He wondered aloud. The vet explained that such unique kittens were often sought after by unlicensed breeders looking to profit from their rarity. However, ethical concerns had led to strict regulations on their ownership, and it was illegal to possess such cats without proper documentation. The vet's concern deepened. He explained that owning and breeding cats with engineered mutations could lead to serious health issues for future generations of felines. He emphasized the importance of tracing the kitten's ownership to prevent further genetic manipulation. The vet believed the police needed to be involved immediately to investigate this illicit breeding operation. Finally, the vet unveiled the specifics of the kitten's birth defect. He revealed that the cat's striking eyes were not only the result of a genetic mutation, but also an indication of potential health problems. The kitten's condition was complex and required specialized care, which made it even more crucial to address its origins and ensure its welfare. Jack realized he had unwittingly stumbled upon a significant mystery that went beyond the initial rescue. News of the kitten's unique genetic mutation spread like wildfire. In the days that followed, scientists and geneticists expressed an unusual level of interest in the kitten's genetics. They believed that studying the cat's DNA could provide valuable insights into genetic mutations, sparking hope for medical breakthroughs. The kitten became a subject of intense scrutiny, raising ethical questions about its future. As discussions around the kitten's genetics continued, another unsettling truth emerged. Some parties were willing to pay substantial sums to acquire the kitten, even if it meant bypassing the legal restrictions on owning such genetically engineered animals. The controversial allure of profit clashed with ethical concerns, casting a shadow over the kitten's fate. Amid the chaos, Jack found himself facing a moral dilemma. He had rescued the kitten from a life-threatening fire, but now its future hung in the balance. Should he keep the kitten, knowing the risks and responsibilities involved, or should he entrust its care to experts who could ensure its well-being? The weight of this decision weighed heavily on his shoulders. Recognizing Jack's internal struggle, the veterinary team decided to take control of the situation. They believed it was in the kitten's best interest to be placed under their care, away from the public eye and potential exploitation. Jack reluctantly agreed, knowing that the experts could provide the specialized care the kitten needed. With the kitten now in safe hands, the focus shifted to locating its previous owners. The police initiated an investigation to trace the individuals who had illegally possessed and potentially manipulated the kitten's genetics. The search for the owners had officially begun, as authorities aimed to hold them accountable for their actions. As news of the kitten's rescue and the subsequent investigation spread, a disturbing suspicion began to loom. The timing of the house fire, the kitten's unique genetics, and the illegal breeding operation hinted at something more sinister. Investigators started to suspect arson, believing that the fire might have been an attempt to cover up the illicit breeding operation and erase all evidence of wrongdoing. Meanwhile, the kitten found itself in a safe haven under the watchful care of experienced veterinarians. Removed from the public eye and potential exploitation, it began a new life filled with specialized attention and a chance at a healthier future. Jack, despite his initial reluctance, knew he had made the right decision to entrust the kitten to professionals who could provide the care it needed and protect it from those who saw it as a source of profit. The kitten's life took an unexpected turn as it adjusted to its new surroundings and the loving care of the veterinary team. Its unique genetic makeup made it a one-of-a-kind case, attracting the curiosity of scientists and researchers eager to unravel the mysteries hidden within its DNA. It marked the beginning of a new chapter in the kitten's extraordinary life, one filled with opportunities for discovery and a chance to contribute to scientific understanding. Back in the charred remains of the burned house, authorities tirelessly sought the culprits behind the fire and the illegal breeding operation. Clues began to surface, pointing to individuals who had exploited the kitten's genetic mutation for financial gain. The net was tightening around those responsible for the dangerous scheme, and law enforcement was determined to ensure they faced the consequences of their actions, serving as a warning to others involved in similar illicit practices. Investigators combed through the wreckage of the burned house, sifting through the ashes and remnants of the operation. Every piece of evidence brought them closer to uncovering the truth. They were determined to bring the individuals responsible to justice and ensure that no more animals would suffer due to such illicit practices. The burned house stood as a haunting reminder of the dark side of the kitten's past, a past that was slowly being unveiled by the diligent work of law enforcement. As investigators delved deeper into the case, they conducted interviews with neighbours and individuals in the vicinity of the burned house. Clues began to emerge, painting a clearer picture of the events leading up to the fire. Suspicion turned towards certain individuals who had been seen near the property in the days before the blaze. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly falling into place, but the full story remained elusive. Neighbours in the quiet suburban community shared their observations with investigators. Some recalled unusual comings and goings at the house in question, while others mentioned hearing heated arguments on the premises. The neighbours' accounts added complexity to the investigation, hinting at a deeper web of secrets and motives surrounding the burned house. Amid the ongoing investigation, the kitten displayed remarkable resilience. Under the attentive care of the veterinary team, it continued to defy the odds, its health steadily improving. Its striking appearance and unique genetics became a symbol of hope and perseverance. The kitten's journey from the brink of disaster to recovery captivated the hearts of all who knew its story. After thorough examinations and specialised care, the vet provided a final assessment of the kitten's condition. While its genetic mutation remained a defining characteristic, the kitten's health had significantly improved. The vet expressed optimism about its future, highlighting its remarkable resilience and potential for a fulfilling life despite its challenging start. Jack's attachment to the kitten grew stronger with each passing day. The bond they shared went beyond the dramatic rescue. It was a connection forged through adversity and compassion. Jack found comfort in caring for the kitten and watching it thrive. Despite the uncertainty of the ongoing investigation, one thing was clear. Jack was determined to provide the kitten with a safe and loving home. Jack couldn't stand idly by while investigators worked tirelessly to uncover the truth behind the kitten's origins and the suspicious fire. He made a resolute decision to assist the investigation in any way he could, driven by a deep sense of responsibility for the rescued kitten. His first-hand knowledge of the rescue and the events leading up to it could prove invaluable in solving the case and bringing those responsible to justice. Jack, along with the investigative team, hatched a plan to locate the elusive owners of the kitten. They decided to follow a trail of clues that had emerged during their interviews and examination of the burned house. The goal was to bring the owners to justice and shed light on the dark secrets surrounding the illegal breeding operation that had put the kitten's life at risk. As the investigation deepened, the clues began to paint a disturbing picture of a shady operation. The burned house appeared to be just one piece of a larger puzzle involving illicit genetic experimentation on animals. Authorities suspected that those behind this operation had been driven by greed, a complete disregard for ethical boundaries, and a willingness to exploit innocent creatures for profit at any cost. Law enforcement agencies delved deeper into the breeding scheme, meticulously tracking down records and connecting dots that led to shadowy figures operating on the fringes of the pet industry. The scale of the operation and the inhumane treatment of animals involved were appalling, heightening the urgency of the investigation and the need to expose those responsible for their crimes against animals. As the investigation continued to unfold, investigators and law enforcement were inching closer to uncovering the dark truth behind the kitten's genetic mutation, its illegal breeding, and the motives of those responsible. The impending revelation would not only bring justice, but also shed light on the ethical complexities of genetic experimentation on animals, prompting a broader conversation about the welfare of animals in such a perilous industry and the need for stricter regulations to protect them. With mounting evidence and a clear trail of wrongdoing, law enforcement launched a desperate search for the fugitive owners of the kitten. The urgency to locate and apprehend them intensified as authorities learned more about the extent of their involvement in the illegal breeding operation. The cat's safety and the pursuit of justice hung in the balance as the manhunt unfolded, and the weight of responsibility bore heavily on the investigators determined to bring the culprits to justice. As investigators closed in on the fugitive owners, the cat's future remained uncertain. Would it be safe from further exploitation, or would it become a pawn in the legal battle that loomed ahead? The resilience and uniqueness of the kitten symbolized hope, but its destiny still depended on the outcome of the impending legal proceedings. The uncertainty surrounding its fate tugged at the hearts of all who had come to care for it. While the legal process unfolded, the cat continued its transition to a new home with Jack. The bond between them deepened as the days passed, and the cat showed remarkable adaptability. Jack's home, once a place of refuge during the fire, had now become a permanent sanctuary for the remarkable feline. It was a testament to the resilience of both the cat and its compassionate rescuer. Amid the ongoing legal proceedings, Jack found moments for reflection. He marveled at the twists of fate that had brought the kitten into his life. It was a journey filled with challenges, heartache, and hope. The ordeal had transformed him, igniting a newfound passion for animal welfare and a determination to ensure that no other creature suffered as the cat had. His journey from firefighter to advocate marked a profound personal transformation. The news broke with a sense of closure and vindication. The fugitive owners, driven by greed and a callous disregard for animal welfare, had been arrested. The legal system had caught up with them, and justice was finally within reach. The cat's rescue had set in motion a chain of events that would not only change its life, but also serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of protecting animals from exploitation and cruelty. The arrest signaled a triumph of justice and a beacon of hope for the welfare of animals everywhere. As the investigation continued, the final pieces of the puzzle fell into place. Authorities uncovered a network of individuals involved in the illegal breeding operation, revealing the full extent of the operation's cruelty and exploitation. With each new revelation, the case against the fugitive owners grew stronger, and the path to justice became clearer. The tireless efforts of investigators and advocates brought a sense of justice to the forefront, driving home the importance of holding those responsible accountable for their actions. The moment of closure drew nearer as the legal proceedings reached their climax. For the cat and Jack, it marked the end of a harrowing chapter filled with uncertainty. Their journey had been marked by resilience and compassion, and now they awaited the resolution that would secure a brighter future for both of them. The anticipation of closure brought mixed emotions, but also a deep sense of hope, as they looked forward to a life free from the shadows of exploitation. With the legal battle behind them, the cat's new life began in earnest. It had transitioned from a symbol of exploitation to a beacon of hope, inspiring others to advocate for animal welfare. Jack's home had become its permanent refuge, a place where it could thrive and be cherished for the unique and extraordinary creature it was. The cat's journey served as a testament to the transformative power of compassion and resilience, offering a glimmer of hope to all who had followed its remarkable story. Jack's role in the cat's remarkable rescue transformed him, not only into a hero within his firefighting community, but also into an advocate for animal welfare. His journey had shown him the profound impact one person's compassion could have on the life of an innocent creature. Jack's story inspired others to take action and make a difference in the lives of animals in need. His dedication and empathy became a driving force for positive change, a testament to the enduring power of kindness. As time passed, the mysterious cat story became a heartwarming tale of resilience, compassion, and second chances. Its unique genetics, once a source of exploitation, now symbolized the strength that could be found in adversity. The cat's journey served as a reminder that even in the face of cruelty, there could be a heartwarming ending for those who deserved a chance at a better life. Its legacy lived on as a source of inspiration for those committed to the welfare of animals everywhere, a lasting tribute to the remarkable feline's enduring spirit.